What's going on, folks? We are here in the not so photogenic basement of the Hudson room in lovely scenic downtown Peekskill, New York. I have a really great show I wanted to tell you about. Some of you may know Louis Vanaria from his big screen roles in A Bronx Tale, Wolf of Wall Street, as well as his TV roles in Person of Interest, Blue Bloods, Boardwalk Empire, and many, many more. I started playing with Louis about 6 years ago when we were doing gigs with Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos and the Bada Bing Boys. Louis is amazingly eclectic and complex, but he does it with such simplicity. He's a hell of a cook, too. On top of all that, he's a really, really good friend. Louis and the band were nice enough to let me pester them a couple of minutes before the show, so let's take a look. We're here with the man of the hour, Mr. Louis Vanaria.
So good to be here, too, Artie. Thank you.
2015 was very busy for you. You came off a great, successful movie with Friends and Romans.
Friends and Romans goes on Netflix on June 6th.
That's a beautiful thing.
Very excited about it.
You have another successful movie, Joe's War, with Tom Sizemore coming out.
How'd you hear about that?
IMDb.
Wow.
Where any of your fans can stalk you.
I play gay in that movie. No kidding.
In the movie.
In the movie, I play gay.
But you are quite a staple of the LGBT community.
Straight as an arrow.
Speaking of movies, there's a lot of you in the roles that you play.
Yeah, they're usually East Coast guys, Brooklyn, Bronx, New York definitely. I'm a Bronx guy myself, but I can branch out and stretch all the way to Jersey.
As you've done many times. Literally, if not figuratively.
Right.
Is that a technique that you bring into your solo projects and your writing?
Yeah, I think I do a lot of covers from East Coast singers. Like Bobby Darin was a Bronx guy. Dillon I do. Neil Diamond is from Brooklyn. So I don't know if it was a choice or it just kind of happened that way. I feel very connected to those singers and those songs that they write. Maybe because we're all from the same place. I don't know.
I'm sure you go through extensive preparation when you're in a film or TV role. Does that preparation have a similarity to how you prepare for music?
The only preparation I use is Preparation H. I don't really...
Are we going to get that as a sponsor on your next solo tour?
I don't prep one as much as I should, actually. I mean, I'm not doing Shakespeare in the park, so the stuff I do, I either am like it, or I know a guy like it from the neighborhood that I kind of emulate them sometimes. For instance, The Bronx Tale, when I had to talk about the whole girl in the car and the whole thing, I don't know how dirty you want me to get. I wasn't like that, but I know guys who talk a good game like that, usually the guys who don't get any, talk a big game like that, and that's who I tried to be like. I knew guys like that, and then I just imitated them.
If this girl goes down on the old Brajo, knowing that guy in the truck is watching her, then she's a pig and she can't be trusted.
Does that technique of emulation have anything to do with how you approach a song?
No, because I don't want to... The way I imitate people when I act is I do not want to imitate anybody when I sing. Matter of fact, once I learn a song, I don't listen to the performer. I don't listen, like if I learn a Sinatra song, once I learn it, I don't listen to Sinatra do it anymore. Because I kind of want to make it my own.
Tell us a little about how you use the microphone. What are some of your influences there?
I saw Johnny Mathis once. He's one of my favorite singers, and I don't do much of him because he's such a great singer and he's hard to do. But he had his mic all the way down here, and you heard every little nook and cranny of his voice. And I saw Tony Bennett, and he was the same way. So I kind of watch, I go see these performers if I can. I go see anybody, and I'll take what I like about them and use it. And I also learn a lot from what I don't like about them because I won't do it.
Where can we find you online?
Online, I'm louisvanaria.com, and you can see all my acting stuff and some of my singing stuff. But you have to see me live if you really want to get the full experience, the Louis Vanaria experience.
You have a new album coming out?
I have 2 albums out on iTunes right now. One is called Where Are All the Movie Stars? And one is called For What It's Worth.
I actually retouched the album cover photo for What It's Worth, as a matter of fact.
Yes,
Louis, looking very forward tonight. We're going to catch up with Louis a little later.
Yep, can't wait.
We're back with Keith Gerland. We last caught up with Keith on the Echoes of Sinatra stage, where Keith had a lot of wonderful things to say.
It's been a Wadsworth, as they say.
You're a master of many instruments, flute, alto and tenor sax, clarinet. Is there anything that you particularly look for or that prompts you to play one instrument over another?
I guess the default would be the tenor sax because of it gets lower, so you could play along with the bass and play those type of lines. But if you're not going to be doing any of that, then you might pick up the alto, especially if you're playing maybe something Latin and you want to compete with some loud drums and stuff like that. The alto will cut a little more. Then you got your clarinet for your ethnic flavors. And you got your flute for your just a little color here and there when you don't feel like playing anything else. I make sure I mix it up. If I've been neglecting one or the other, then I make sure everyone gets has their say.
What about listening? Do you feel that listening or education is really important to playing out live with a band?
Of course.
How do you think somebody might develop that technique? What's good ear training?
Listen to things and dissect them. Nowadays that's easier than it was back when I used to do it a lot. We used to have to, rewind cassettes and things like that. Now, you can slow these things down without changing the pitch, etc. And you can really get inside. And if you learned just 8 bars of something and really mastered that, you would find that would be a sort of a paradigm that you could apply to everything. It's all the universe contained in a grain of sand sort of thing. So I would recommend going really micro on something before you zoom out, as it were.
Awesome. Great advice. We're going to catch up with Keith a little later.
All right, Mr. DeMille.
Leave this another text. Story of my life. Text.
We're here once again with Tony, trainer. Why don't you talk a little bit about what's happening behind the kit tonight?
The drum kit is the DW specialty drum kit made for me. We have a 8x12 tom, 12x15, and a 16x16 floor tom, 22x18 bass, and of course 14-inch hi-hat cymbals. All Zildjian except for the ride, which is a very special cymbal that my father gave me back in the day. It's an old Rude Heisty, R-U-D-E.
Nice.
And of course endorsing my 7A Regal Tip, 5A Regal Tip drumsticks. I have 2 snares tonight. One is the 1958 Slingerland Overthrow back, which is a chrome snare. It was used by Rich Kruper and Belson back in the day. Not that physical snare, but something like that. And then we have a Cooley snare, which is made, it's a special alloy, black alloy, kind of like between aluminum and metal, which means it gives you a nice little feel with the rudiments as well.
We do a lot of gigs together, and I noticed that your setup doesn't change largely from gig to gig. What is it about your approach to the drum kit that allows you to achieve different sounds from a lot of the same gear?
Well, it's not really about the gear. I get different sounds, different techniques, and different unique rudimental, speed, wrist action. It could be any drum that you're playing on, but like I always coin the phrase, I can play on a garbage pail cover, You can have different drums and different sounds and everything, but if you have the technique, you can make any kind of equipment, any drum sound, pretty decent. I endorse Remo now, which is pretty cool, and I tune them up a little bit tighter than most drummers today, so I get a better response. So when I do the doubles and singles and the triplets, and when I do the single rolls that are pretty hot, I get the response from the head.
We're here with the one and only Pete DeHoff, legendary keyboardist and all-around ivory extraordinaire.
I thought I was a bald guy.
We're on the gig with Louis tonight. What's going on, Pete? It's been a while since we played together. I was on bass the last time.
There you go. I didn't know why.
You were off bass last time. You asked me. Hey,
that's nothing new for me. So, with a gig that's as diverse as Louis, how do you prepare for something like this?
I ask what key it's in, and then I play the song.
Spoken like a true master. I notice you play a lot of Yamaha keyboards.
They're nice, they're cheap, I can burn them up in the sun and the rain. That's the God's honest truth. And they don't sound so bad.
Is there a particular set of sounds you normally look for in the keyboard that you're using live?
The sound that I need, yes.
Very well. We're gonna hear Pete play a little bit later.
My gear is actually pretty simple. It's very similar to what I use for the Echoes of Sinatra show.
Starting out with my Mighty ZT lunchbox on top of my 112 Fender cabinet. I'm also using my wireless and my acoustic preamp for the acoustic stuff. I have my 73 Epiphone EA205 for all the jazzy, swingy stuff. The rock stuff, I use my trusty 93 American Strat. And then I'm also using, for the acoustic stuff, I'm using this really nice Manuel Rodriguez acoustic nylon string, which has a little bit thinner neck, and the Fishman Classica preamp, which sounds great. For the Italian stuff, I'm using this really nice Washburn M3 mandolin. On the floor, it's the usual suspects, although I'm trying out an electro-harmonic soul food tonight, but still using the Vox with the Polytune BB preamp, carbon copy, and my old Swiss Army knife, the G2.
I've been stepped on and kicked out, I've lost fights, but held out, and nobody can keep me down. And I'll never forget where I came from, no, I'll remember every corner I stood. It wasn't always bad and it wasn't always good, but I wouldn't change a thing if I could. I'm proud the Bronx is my neighborhood.